Good evening for those in the UK and the US for that matter. It's December 7th, 2017 for a live streaming speaker for the Northeast Wisconsin Eat Club of District 6270. And our speaker tonight is Douglas Kerr from Scotland. And he's been telling about his fundraising project he's going to be working. Hello, Douglas. How are you?
Hi, folks. I'm fine, thank you, Andy.
Good. So Douglas, I read about your very interesting climbing the highest points of the inhabited islands of Scotland. So before we get there, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and your Rotary Club?
Thanks, Andy. First of all, I should say I'm very flattered to be asked to speak to you guys. It's very much an honour. I'm a semi-retired dairy farmer from southwest Scotland. We have about 700 cows in total, farmed in partnership with my brother, who unfortunately is not at all well at this point. My son has come home, which has given me time to do this challenge. The challenge being, which was inspired by our Rotary Club at a brainstorming session as to how we could look to the future and set ourselves targets. And in talking about islands, because I'm a sailor, it suddenly occurred to me it would be nice to revisit some of the islands I've seen and a lot I've not around Scotland. Did some homework, and our government do every 10 years a census, and it lists the inhabited islands and it gives a report. And as of the 2011 census, the publication of which was not published until 2015, and there are 93 inhabited islands in Scotland. And to add to the challenge, I felt I would try and get to the highest point of each. And with some research, mainly in Wikipedia, I've established that I will have to climb Everest twice.
So the 93 islands, the total up elevation is twice going to top of Everest.
Indeed.
Okay.
And off that, two of the islands have what we in Scotland call a Munro. Some of your more avid climbers will have heard of Munros. Munros are mountains that have a height above 3,000 feet. And I have two of these to do. One on Skye and one on Mull, two of the slightly bigger islands within the Scottish Islands.
When you say that, does that mean you have to use ropes and other climbing?
I think most of them we won't, but the one in Skye is climbing a particularly difficult ridge. It's classified as a grade 2 scramble. Luckily, my son-in-law is a grade 7 climber, so he will literally hold my hand, and I expect, being such an old codger, i.e. 68, he will rope me up to make sure he doesn't lose his father-in-law. I hope he does anyway.
Okay.
So the rest of them will be much simpler. And the easiest one is, in fact, an inland island, of which there's 4. And the highest point on this inland island is only 15 feet.
15 feet is the lowest.
Yeah, so I think I can cope with that one.
Okay. On the Skye and the other one, how high are those points?
The one in Skye is over 3,200, and the one in Mull is about 3,100 plus. And the Skye one will be the difficult one.
Okay. And that's in feet or meters?
So yeah.
Is that in feet or meters?
That's in feet.
Okay.
Yes, although we also quote them in meters, in climbing terms in Scotland, things are mostly measured in feet.
Very sensible people. So
Indeed.
how are you going to get to all these different islands, and how long is it going to take you to get there?
This is proving to be marginally more difficult than I expected. I'm lucky that I share a camper van with one of the couples that we share a boat with, and I've already booked to have 12 days in Shetland. Shetland being the most northerly set of islands in Scotland, which are actually closer to Norway than mainland Scotland. And I anticipate there that I'll use public ferry transport. Also will use local planes to go to 2 of the islands. I'm also fortunate I have a friend who has volunteered via a private plane to take me to 2 of the more difficult islands as well. So a combination.
So how do you, how many days do you estimate it will take you to get to these 93 islands?
That's a good point. I've estimated this year that I will get between 25 and 30. And at this point, that's likely to take me, yes, about 30 days. So I guess effectively it could take me about a day per island.
Okay.
So it's a fair chunk out of my life.
Okay. So if I understand you right, you're going to take about a month this year to go to about 25 islands, and then following year do another 25, 30 islands, and then the last, and over in the third year?
Yes, indeed. I feel that whilst I'm keen to raise a reasonable amount of money for charity, I also don't want to make it a chore and make it enjoyable. And there's a lot of friends that would like to join me, so we'll have to try and accommodate them. And although I'm semi-retired, with 700 cows, they need a lot of feeding, and I feel I should help my son some of the time as well. So it's not the be all and end all of life for the next 3 years.
Okay.
And also, I think it'll be more enjoyable and more satisfying doing it in the summertime.
That makes sense to me. You did mention, when we talked earlier, that some of the islands are privately held and the owners are actually helping you get to the islands?
Yes, it took me a day on Google, and I was on page 8 on the Google of this island called Vela, which is owned by 2 people. And with a bit of detective work and phoning, I found the contact number of the lady concerned, and she has kindly volunteered to come to mainland Shetland, pick me up, take me to the island, and then take me back in her small boat, Andy. So that will be good. I've also a challenge that one of the islands I'm going to fly to, and I have to climb 1,500 feet. But the plane gets in at 10 in the morning, and the plane back is at 4 in the afternoon. So I will have to be pretty nimble that day.
Yeah. Do you do any mountain climbing or backpacking in Scotland now? Is that something that you normally do?
As a student, I will have about 280 odd Munros, that's i.e. peaks above 3,000 feet in Scotland, Andy. And I've possibly done about 50 odd of them. Pretty pathetic compared to the professionals, inverted commas. And I still like doing a reasonable amount of walking, so I'm reasonably confident that in spite of my age, I'll be fit enough to deal with that side of it.
How are you going to do the fundraising? How are you actually going to make money doing this?
I'm doing it mainly as a challenge, and I'm taking the view that I'm going to fund all the transport myself. But if I can make some money, I've set a target of £10,000, naively £100 per island, £100 plus per island, and I should get to 10,000. split between three wonderful charities. My sons have helped me set up the web page with Virgin Money, and they have been very helpful. And we now have a website which I think you know about, and we'll just take it from there. It would be nice to say that maybe my American friends were the first to donate to the website, because it literally is just up yesterday. So that would be a nice highlight for me.
Okay. We do have for our viewers of the video at the end, at the beginning, at the end, we have a slide. We'll have the link to the website, the Virgin website that Douglas is talking about, so you can join in there, how to do that. And also, we're going to have on the people who will be watching this later, there'll be a scroll on the bottom of the page with that website for making donations to Douglas. Douglas,
thank you, Andy.
You're welcome. There's three charities that you're going to support. Why don't you tell us who they are, the three charities that you're running?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm delighted to do so. Firstly, because it came through a brainstorming meeting, as I mentioned, our own local Rotary Club, Dalbeattie Rotary Club, and even today we've been approached by one of our local villages to see if we could support renovating the village hall. So any funds will be a big help there. Mary's Meals, I'm sure a lot of your members will know about. There's a wonderful job of putting food into children's stomachs in developing countries, so that when they are at school, they can concentrate on the lessons a lot better. And I've already supported that charity. I think it now is doing over 1 million meals a day. And the third one is a personal one that I'm quite passionate about, Andy, Dumfries and Galloway Befriending. I've been a befriender for the last 17 years, basically helping kids from a disadvantaged stroke troubled background that need a little bit of normality and some respite from what would, in my book, be fairly difficult and challenging home conditions. And I'm taking the view that a little bit of my time can make a huge difference to these kids, and hopefully make society a better place, because we're trying to avoid these kids becoming involved in courts and such like things.
And now you said that's a befrienders group? A befriender?
That's a befrienders group, yes.
And,
we have about 60 of us, and each year we befriend up to 80 kids in total.
Because Douglas and I did talk earlier, it sounds like the Befrienders group is very similar to what we have in the United States called Big Sisters, Big Brothers, where volunteers or mentors to these younger people. You said they were like 10 to 18. Is that the age group?
That's the age group, yes.
And
no, that's interesting. We are fairly unique in our area doing this, but I'm pleased to hear that America has a similar type of scheme, Andy.
And you take these young men, young women to like the football game, soccer games?
Yeah, I like your terminology, yes. I have taken them on several occasions to soccer games, and that can be quite an education, unlike what we call rugby. With all due respect, soccer fans are not always as polite. We also take them a bit of walking, swimming, we've been ice skating, really whatever the kid wants to do.
You just kind of mentor them and let them talk and have another adult as a positive role model.
Exactly. That's it. You've quickly grasped the situation, and that's our target, to try and be a positive role model for these kids. And we don't We don't win them all, but of the 10 that I've done over 17 years, I can think of 2 or 3 that have been really quite nice successes.
So you've been doing that for 16 years personally already as a mentor.
Yes, I've done 17 years already and have befriended 10 kids. I have set myself a target to get to 20 years, by which time I'll also have done these islands. So I'll then be really retired.
Okay. And so the 3 charities are the Befrienders Group, which sounds very
Yes.
rewarding for you and for the people you help. Then there's Mary's Meals, which provides food for in disadvantaged countries, developing countries. And then the other one is supporting your local charities that your Rotary Club supports.
Indeed.
Okay. Very good. And again,
And as I say, my target is £10,000. And already one of our local businesses is going to join me in one of the island jaunts and has promised a fairly substantial figure of money.
okay.
So, but it would be a real feather in my cap if I could say my American Rotary friends have kindly donated towards this.
Okay.
But even if they don't, it's been an absolute pleasure being able to do this. It's been a learning curve for me, Andy. I've enjoyed hearing about yourself, and if I can speak to any of your members that are listening just now, I'm more than happy to do so.
I just want to tell also our viewers, we noticed that Douglas is multicolored for us. He's having a storm where he lives in the connection is kind of weak. So we're very happy we're able to get him as clear as we can today. But we're going to open it up now for some questions. We have from Marlo or Jean. Do you have any questions? Or Ryan, you want to ask some follow-up questions with Douglas?
Hi. My question was, you said a lot of these islands are privately owned, and so some of those owners will be helping you get to them. Are most of these climbed often by people, or are some of them pretty much off limits, then people don't go to them very often?
That's a very good question, Mel. I would say potentially 20 of them are off limits because they're privately owned, they're not wanting to attract tourists, and I suspect there will be a very limited amount of people will have been to the highest point. So whilst I've tackled the first 1 or 2, I've still quite a few more to do some homework on, and it's been a nice challenge. When you look at the census form, there are 8 islands with 1 person on, and I think there's about 30 that have 20 people or less, including the one that I'm going to fly to, which is why I have to get up the hill and back the same day.
And when you get to the top of all these, how are you going to document it? Are you going to have a GoPro camera and video the entire thing, or just take a selfie when you get to the top?
Now, you've just raised an excellent point. My youngest son has got a GoPro camera, and I'm sure if I spoke to him nicely, I'm seeing him this weekend, he maybe would give me a loan of it. He's going to come to me on the most difficult hill, but I was basically thinking of taking a selfie and get whoever has joined me, Marco, to take some pictures. I would like to try and get into the Guinness Book of Records, and I have sent off an application form to see if this project of mine will qualify. As far as I can establish, it's not been officially recorded, so there'll be quite a lot of work making sure I get a verification on each island peak. But I think, given what I'm trying to do, it would be nice if I could get into the Guinness Book of Records as well.
Well, maybe if you jumped rope on the top of every one, they'd let you in.
Maybe they would, but I think I'll settle for just getting to the top, Marco.
So,
Although I think from the top of Skye, I will be roped up anyway.
Yeah.
is Sky climbed very often? It sounds like it's some difficulty, but is that a common destination for hikers?
Yes, and it's a very common, it's a climber's paradise because it's so steep and such spectacular views. There's a lot of people, including one of my friends, will go transverse this ridge, and it takes more than 12 to 24 hours. So people have to bivouac at the top of the hill, top of the ridge to be able to do it, and you need a qualified guide with you. So it's, whereas I'm only doing one peak within that ridge.
Okay. And so you said you have some of your Rotarian friends. Are you having some of the local clubs help out too that were the Rotary clubs?
Yes, I've just organised tonight to speak to Cas Douglas, which is another Rotary club, and also we've got 3 local clubs that I've asked to speak to, and I'm hoping that they'll have a collective sponsorship for me for all the islands. And I'm then hoping that because of my farming business, that I'll find some commercial companies to sponsor me for individual islands, as well as potentially some of your American friends. You know, I would like people to sponsor each a particular island. I can then email them with me at the top, and with my son's help, we'll do a blog once we get started, which will be in April.
And you mentioned the other day when I was talking to you that you're a major supplier to ASDA. Is that correct in Scotland?
Yes, we with 700 cows, we supply about 20% of all ASDA milk that's consumed in Scotland. So that's a major part of our farming business.
I think you should ask them for a donation support.
Yeah.
You could put the ASDA on your backpack or something as you climb the mountains.
Yeah, I've still to approach them, but that's another good point to come out from tonight's conference.
Yep. No, we're good at figuring out money, aren't we, Ryan?
We'll get it from somebody.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
On that. Okay. I think, Douglas, is there any more questions from you, Ryan?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Douglas, we don't have any
No,
more
I
questions.
think it's been a delight speaking to yourself and to Ryan, and it's all been good, and we'll look forward to seeing what develops from this. As I say, I would be delighted if anything comes from you kind people to help these what I think are good charities, and what I think will be a worthwhile challenge for myself.
Well, good luck, and I wish you the best. This seems like a really cool self-adventure that's going to benefit a lot of people. So,
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
That's a nice comment from you. So, and on my website, as I say, I will be starting the blog after the New Year. We've already lined up about 20 of the islands for this year, Ryan. So I would be pleased if you could watch my progress and put a wee comment in now and again, because I can picture your face now, and I can say, I spoke to him in December. So that would be good.
You send us a link for your blog, and we'll make sure we put that on our Facebook page and our website so other people can follow you. We'll try to promote it on our end as well as much as we can.
Yes, that certainly will do. It's the blog is to appear on the Virgin Giving page, so I will get that once I start the blog. I'll email you, Andy, with the link.
Great, that'd be fantastic. So I'm going to put up that slide again, which has the Virgin website on it, and right there is it https://uk.virginmoneygiving.com/islands.
That's it.
So
That's the one.
we'll have that on the beginning and end of this tape. We'll also have it scrolling on the tape, and we'll put it on our website and our Facebook page, that information, so they can contact you or the charities if they want to promote money for that way. And again, Douglas, thank you very much for being a speaker. It's for those who don't know, it's almost midnight for Douglas.
It's we passed my bedtime. I'll need to be up for the cows at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So, but it's been a delight speaking to you, Andy.
We appreciate very much that you stayed up tonight to talk with us. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you, Andy. Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Bye.